Afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. And this is Sridharan. I'm from IDMA, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and Kerala State Board. And also, I represent the Telangana State Board also today. And we are organizing, the FSSAI webinar workshop series. It's a 3-week series, actually. Last week, we had, we had the first webinar. We had Mr. Pancham and also Dr. K. Arul Anand. And we had a very, very interesting webinar last week on licensing and registration and schedule for requirements. And then Dr. K. Arul Anand had given a very, very good insight. And the second in the series, we have with us, ma'am, actually, Miss Lydia Sona Lizzy. She's a technical officer. And she is going to talk about the online application procedure and specifically for health supplements and nutraceuticals. So again, it's a very, very important topic for today. And, I really welcome each and every one of you for this webinar. And I'm sure, this webinar series will be of immense help to, all the current manufacturers as well as the entrepreneurs who are going to get into this particular business. And I just wanted to give a small introduction of the speaker today. Ms. Lydia has done her BTech in food processing from Karunya University and MTech in food quality management from Allahabad Agricultural University. She has started her career at the FSSAI headquarters, New Delhi, in September 2013, wherein she had joined as technical officer in imports division and worked there till August 2016. In 2017, she was nominated to visit USA, representing India and the FSSAI in a prestigious program on food safety funded by the US government. Currently, she is posted at the Southern Regional Office, Chennai, wherein she has around 7 years of experience handling work related to imports as well as licensing, wherein day-to-day activities include scrutiny of applications and field inspections as and when assigned. It's a very impressive profile she has, and then we look forward to hearing from Ms. Lydia. And over to Ms. Lydia. Please keep all this, yeah.
I hope my screen is visible, sir.
Yeah, it's visual to everyone.
A very good evening to one and all gathered here for the session, and thank you, sir, for introducing me. Since we are falling short of time last time also, so I would like to go into the subject. So today's presentation would be on FoSCoS An overview and the application procedure for health supplements and nutraceuticals in general. So earlier we had something called as FLRS, which was standing for Food Licensing and Registration System. So it was governing only the licensing and the registration part of it. Whereas now we have the food safety compliance system, which is called as FoSCoS, through which the licensing applications are being received. So basically the difference between both of that is that the compliance, like once they get the license, we were not able to look into the compliance aspect of a particular food business operator online. So there were a lot of gaps in it. So because of that, we had come up with one more system called as FoSCoS. And as on date, we are granting licenses through the food safety compliance system. So here, there have been some upgraded features which were not available in FLRS. So we'll be seeing all of it one by one. So here, FoSCoS, the enhanced features include KOB-wise documents, wherein KOB stands for kind of business. So manufacture is one kind of business, importing would be another kind of business. So in the FLRS, we had like 28 documents together. Irrespective of whatever they select online, mandatorily all the documents will be displayed. Whereas in FoSCoS, now if you select nutraceutical, only nutraceutical, whatever document is related to nutraceutical will only be listed on your login. So this is one added feature. So depending on what your selection is, so you'll be getting your list of documents there. So unnecessary documents won't be sought there. So it has been, the system has been revised as such. The second one is like declaration based documents. Initially, we were getting a lot of self declarations from the food business operators, whereas now everything has been consolidated into a point wise, which will be available to the food business operator at the end of the submission. So you just have to put a tick based out there in order to comply with all the declarations. So if initially it was like 5 to 6 declarations were sought, like FSMS declaration and other product related declarations and all were sought, but now it is all a tick based selection. So that also will be seeing in the future slides. And next one is like inspection reports. So once we inspect a particular this thing, we were not able to, we were doing it offline. So now we have like provisions for immediate updation of inspection reports, and that will be available to the FBO as well, both online, so they can check. And in case there has been some non-compliance that has been intimated, they can correct it right away. So there is instant availability of the inspection reports. So this is one added feature here. And one more thing is like pan India level, you have uniform formats for licenses and registration. And one more thing that has been added out here is initially in FLRS. Sorry for the interruption, sir. There was a bit of a technical glitch out there, so requesting your pardon, please. And the next one was next one is addition of new KOBs. So KOB stands, as we already discussed, it is kind of business. So initially we had something called as general manufacturing, wherein people were applying for food supplements and all of it under general manufacturing. But in the new FoSCoS thing, we have like separate, kind of business and a provision for, applying for food supplements, nutraceuticals. And there is something called as substances added to food. So these are not exactly like food products as such, but these are additives, enzymes, preparations, nutrients, and etc. Those kind of products which are not actually a food, but they are added to food. So those also have a separate provision in this FoSCoS. And the last one is novel food. So for some foods which are not specified in anywhere in the regulation, so there we do not have a provision in the old system, but in the FoSCoS we have the system wherein novel foods. So this is a separate procedure wherein you go to the food authority for your approval for the new food, and those food will be applied under a separate head, so differentiate from the other general products that you are actually applying. So these are all enhanced features that we have in FoSCoS. So, and one more thing was like annual returns. I think everybody is aware of what annual returns is. So whatever your production is there in the previous financial year, you would be submitting as annual returns. So those things were done offline, but in the new FoSCoS thing, we have this also online. So we are able to correlate between what is being manufactured and how much is the production and everything. Those details you'd be giving. So earlier it was manual, and now in the FoSCoS it is made online. So earlier there was no food category for importer, so this is not relevant to the product. So these are all enhanced features. So we'll just move on to the subject right now. So this is the basic licensing procedure. So this is irrespective of whatever you apply for, this is the general procedure. So first you'll be filing an application, and you would be receiving an application number, unique application number, that is to be noted and kept in case you need to track the status of the application. So once it is done, the application will be scrutinized, and the time for scrutiny is 15 days. So 15 days, if at all some document is defective or there is some incomplete information on the application, so what happens here is the licensing authority would be returning back the application with a set of comments. So that those comments have to be complied by the FBO within 30 days. If you do not reply or respond within 30 days, we do not reject it. The system automatically rejects the application. It is called as auto rejection. So in case it is not responded to, the queries, whatever has been raised is not being responded within 30 days, your application will stand rejected. And in case the additional information what has been sought for is being provided, then the application moves forward. And if the product, whatever has been applied, if at all the licensing authority feels that there is a need for inspection, it will be inspected. And in case there is an improvement notice that is required to be served, it will be served. And based on all of this, the license would be granted or rejected. So this is the general procedure. So even before applying for nutraceuticals, we need to understand what is standardized food, what is functional food, and what is non-specified food. So as you can see, whatever standards, like products which have a standard already defined in the food safety and standards regulation, will be covered under your standardized food. For this particular product, you'll be applying it under general manufacturing. And foods that do not have a standard, but their ingredients are somewhere mentioned in the regulation, so those can be classified as proprietary foods. So for nutraceutical, you have a separate regulations. So here we'll be dealing with it in the upcoming slides. And non-specified, as I already told you, it is specified nowhere in the regulation, and there is no standardization of any of these ingredients that have been used. For these, it requires a prior approval. So for example, you're manufacturing one nutraceutical product, of which one particular ingredient that you're using, it is a non-specified ingredient. And for that, you need a specific approval from the FSSAI headquarters. So with that approval, you'd be applying for this product, and we will be scrutinizing the application based on that. So that is called Form 2. So that is a totally different procedure. So this is for your basic understanding, even before you start applying for your license. So we'll just go through as to how to apply online on FoSCoS. So basically, when you're submitting a new application, so first you would be logging in, and then there will be an option on your login for apply for new license and registration. So you'll be selecting on that, and after that you'll be selecting your kind of business, and then entering the form details, then submitting the online fee, and you'll be getting an application acknowledgement. The application acknowledgement is nothing but the application number, reference number that we initially discussed about. So this will be your FoSCoS homepage. So here, as you can see, the highlighted portion here is apply for new license and registration. So you would be clicking on this particular thing initially to apply. So once you click on this, it will be moving on to your next page. So here again, you'll be selecting apply for license or registration. So this is basically for a person who's newly applying. For a person who's already holding a license and wants to modify, that will be dealt with at the later stage. So here it is for new license. So you will be applying it here, and it will be moving on to the next screen. So it will be asking you where is the premises for your operation. So here you'll be selecting as general. because it is not in a railway or an airport, so your thing falls under general. So once you select on this, it will be asking you for the state selection. So you'll be giving whatever state you are, your manufacturing premises is located at, you'll be giving your location there. And once you give, it will be moving on to the kind of business selection. So here, if you can see, there are different kinds of business. So this is like manufacture. Manufacture is a kind of business, trading and retailing, and food services, central government agencies, head office. These are all different kinds of business. So under this also, you'll be having sub kind of businesses out here. So depending on what your product is, you would be applying. For our case, it is food and health supplement. So we will be clicking on this plus symbol out here. Once you click on this, this particular page will be opened here, which is food and health supplements. Under this, if you can see, there'll be one radio button that has been given here. So it will be only central license. Initially, it was in the older system, it was like state or central, both were able to apply. But now it has been made as central. So you'll be having only option for applying for central. So once you click on this, it will be moving on to the next screen. So once you click on that, your screen will be moving on to the next, wherein your eligibility has been displayed here, that you are eligible for a central license. So it is asking you to proceed further. So you'll be giving proceed again. So once you're given all those details, it will be asking you for the premises details. So here you'd be filling your company name, the address, and all the other details out here, and you'll be giving save and next. After which you'll be getting a page for your geographical location, which is not active as on date. So you can just give an OK and you can proceed on it. So this is where it is important, because most of the applications that we receive makes a lot of mistakes in this particular page. So product selection. So this is mandatory. So once you've done with the premises detail, it will be moving on to your product selection here. So here, as you can see, once you finish your premises details, you'll be getting your application reference number here. So you're supposed to keep a note of this number so that you can track your application, or in case you log out, then you can come back and log in again with this particular number. So here, as you can see, under food supplements and nutraceuticals, it is asking you for a production capacity. So once you give your production capacity, it will ask you for selection of your food category, and then under that a sub food category, and then a product name, which should be very generic. And after that, you'll be having your kind of business selection. So here, kind of business, again, it is talking about kind of business here. So here you have like three kind of business: manufacturer, repacker, and relabeler. For example, if somebody else is manufacturing for you, but you own the brand, so you'll be applying it as relabeler. So all the selection would be made here. And the next column is upload product ingredient specification. So here only you'd be uploading all your product related details. So this has to be in a PDF format, and it should be on your letterhead, and it should be authorized by the authorized signatory of the company. So this should be done for each and every product. Individually, one product you'll be applying, you'll be uploading the ingredient and additive, and then give a save and add. And then it will be moving on to your next page. So in this, if you see at the bottom of the page, there is a last line that is given, sample product specification document. So if you click on that, you'll be getting a sample document for submission of your product details. So that is a general format that has been given for uploading your ingredient and additive detail. So once you're done with the selection, so here, as you can see, we all know that, the category for food supplements is 13. Under 13, you have like 13.3 to 13.6 is covered under this particular regulation. That is health supplement, nutraceutical, and FSMP, FSDU products, all are covered under 13.3 to 13.6. So whichever is applicable to your product, you'll be selecting that, and then you'll be giving your name of the product, and you'll be selecting your kind of business, uploading the detail, and it goes on. So for this is one example that we have done here. So here, as you can see on the screen, we have given a production capacity, and this is very important. So when you are actually naming your product, so we require you to give these details, the major classification, as in the regulation. If you see, there are different categorization of the health supplements. Globally, it is called as dietary supplement, but as in like our regulation, we have a bit of classifications here. So we are requiring you to classify whether it is a health supplement, whether it is a nutraceutical, whether it is a food for special dietary use, whether it is food for special medical purpose, or is it a prebiotic or a probiotic food, or if it is a any other food. So you'll be giving a classification. So first you have to prefix the product. Those on the application, you'll be giving the product name in the following format. First, you will be classifying as to what category that particular product falls under. So for example, if it is health supplement, you'll be giving it as health supplement, and the major ingredients. It may not be all the ingredients, just the major ingredients, and then with permitted additives, and in the bracket you can give the label name of the product. So this ways you can add one product after the other. And the second product, if it is a nutraceutical, if you have a nutraceutical ingredient added into it and you're claiming the product as nutraceutical, so in that case you'll be giving the classification as nutraceutical, and then you'll be giving the major ingredients. The same format follows, and you'll be uploading the statement of ingredient and additives, and then proceeding further. So likewise, you need to add for each and every product. So the corresponding list of ingredient and additive you'll be uploading on the letterhead, and it goes on. So as you can see here, as we already discussed, the kind of business that selection here is manufacturer, relabeler, and repacker. So depending on what your particular kind of businesses will be selecting. If you're a manufacturer, please select it as manufacturer. If you're a relabeler, please select it as relabeler. But if you're repacking, you can put it as repacker. So depending on that, the number of documents might vary. So for example, manufacturer means you'll be giving your product ingredients detail. If it is relabeler, you'll be submitting an NOC from the manufacturer. Whoever is the original manufacturer, you'll be submitting. You'll be generating an online NOC and submitting it here. So on repacker, likewise, here also the NOC is applicable here. If you're repacking somebody else's product, so you'd be uploading those related documents there. So once you're done with this particular stage, it will move on to your next this thing. So as you can see, the last thing is sample product document that is given, the format in which you need to submit your product details. So this is the basic format that is being followed till date. So this would be submitted on your letterhead. So as you can see, the model format consists of the name of the product. So whatever is the name of the product, whatever you have given on the application, you can just mention it here. And the category of the supplement, as we already discussed, we have like these many classifications here. So you'd be putting a tick mark, whichever is applicable to you. If it is a health supplement, please put it as health supplement. If it is nutraceutical, as nutraceutical, FSMP, FSDU, whatever is applicable to you, you please give a tick mark out here. And food category, as we already discussed, it is 13.3 to 13.6. So whichever is applicable to this product that you're applying, so please specify whether it is 13.3, 13.4, 13.5, or 13.6. So health supplement and nutraceutical, they will be falling under 13.6. If it is a dietary thing, it will be falling under 13.5. If it is a dietetic thing only for weight management or something of that sort, it will be falling under 13.4. And the remaining you can just apply it according to your product. And the next thing is target population. Target population is important because in some cases wherein we have the regulation, some are not intended for children. So in that cases, you're supposed to mention it here. And for products wherever you're using your vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, they have been given with a set limit. It shouldn't exceed that particular limit for that particular age group. So target population is important when you give or when you use a product that is containing vitamin, minerals, or amino acids, or in some cases botanicals also we have a restriction that it cannot be used for children, or even if it is used, it should be half of the thing. So here target population, in that case you can specify as to what is what. And then next is product format. So whichever is your product format, the end product, whatever is the format, you can put a tick mark, whether it is a tablet, capsule, syrup, or any other format, jelly or something, or whatever that is, you can just mention it out here. And serving size, as we all know, if it is like 5 grams per serve, you can just give it as 5 serve. And if it is recommended number of servings is 2 serves per day. If it is 10 gram, you're just recommending it as 10 grams per day. You'll be giving here as 2 servings per day. So I think I'm clear till now. So then moving on to the list of ingredients. So list of ingredients. So as you can see, we have actually given 6 columns out here. So first one is for your name of the ingredient. Next one is for chemical component source wherever applicable. For botanicals, in case you're using botanicals, then you need to mention the part of the plant used, because for each and every part of the plant that is permitted, it has a limit as per the regulation. So we are asking you to mention the part of the plant that is being used. And here the next column is schedule number. So this is also mandatory. So schedule number as per the nutraceutical regulation, you'd be giving it there. And as we already discussed, in case one of your ingredient is non-specified or means does not have general approval in the regulation, and you are getting a specific approval, separate approval procedure, we discussed initially that it is called as form 2. In those particular cases, you'll be uploading a copy of your product approval, and the product approval file number you have to mention there. And along with this list of ingredient additive, you'll be uploading the product approval copy as well. If it is your own ingredient, for which you have got the product approval, you can upload your own. If you're getting that particular ingredient alone from a third party and adding it into your product, you can submit a copy of their product approval copy, and you can give the file number here. And the next one is quantity of active nutrient present per serving. So for example, here, if you're adding vitamin A, so vitamin A will be the name of the ingredient here, and chemical component source as per FSSAI. So you have retinol palmitate, or whatever that is. So whatever source you're sourcing it from, you can mention it in the second column. Third, you'll be having the schedule numbers. I'll be showing it to you in the next slides as to what the schedule number indicates. And next one will be your quantity of active nutrient. For example, in case of your minerals, if you're adding calcium oxide, so the amount of calcium, so you can mention it out here, calcium alone, not as calcium oxide. You can just mention the amount of active nutrient alone present per serving. And after mentioning that here, the RDA as per FSSR. So FSSR has adopted ICMR 2020. So we have issued orders. We'll be discussing it in the upcoming slides as well. So the RDA permissible, that you can copy paste it from the FSSAI order that has been there. And based on this, your products RDA compliance for that particular nutrient, you can give it as a percentage out here. List of additives, also the name of the additive, and wherever applicable, if it has an INS number, you can mention it there. And the schedule number also has been given in the regulation, so you can mention the schedule number there. And the last one is actual usage limit. If you are able to derive the actual usage limit, you can give that there. If not, the permissible range as per FSSAI. So this is basically to make you aware that you are aware of the permissible range that is given by FSSAI. So this is a general format that is there that you need to submit for each and every product. So, and this has a lot of conditions wherein you're declaring all of that. You can just read through, and this will be signed by the authorized signatory with the seal and signature, and you'll be submitting this detail. So once you submitted this detail, and when you give proceed, initially when we saw in this page, after we give, after we upload this particular product, if you're giving a save and next, it shows up this page for sign up. So sign up here, you'd be giving your other details, your primary contact details, secondary details, and the login credential. As you can see, the application number that we initially got it. So that will be your login ID. Here, once your license is generated, your license would be your login ID. Before your license is being generated, your login ID will be your application number. So you can set a password and you can give submit. So once you give your email ID and your mobile number, you would be getting your user ID and password on your email and your mobile number. So it is very important what detail you give here and register, because whatever communication from FSSAI, in case we are coming for an inspection or anything of that sort, will be intimated. Even for your annual returns, filing of annual returns also, reminders and everything would be coming to the concerned mobile number and the email ID. So please make sure that this is a valid email ID and a phone number that is always present with the company, so that you will be getting further communications from FSSAI. So once you're done with it, you'll be giving a captcha and giving a submit. So it will move on to the next slide. So again, it will be coming to this page wherein you'll be giving your application number here and giving a proceed. So it will go inside. So this is the general procedure. And once you've gone inside, this will be your list of documents. So list of documents from serial number 1 to 10 is mandatory for all manufacturing units, irrespective of whatever the product is. If it is a manufacturing unit, you would be required to submit all these documents. For example, list of directors, partners, proprietor, depending on what it is. If it is a private limited company, you'll be having directors, so you need to submit the list of directors with the nomination of the authorized signatory, address and everything, photo ID, proof of possession. So wherever you're operating from, you'll be submitting all of this. So you can just go through this. These are all mandatory documents for any manufacturer for that matter. So Form 9. Form 9 is very important in case of a manufacturer, because this is a legal nomination form that you're giving for a person responsible for complying all the conditions of the license. So this would be submitted on your letterhead, and blueprint, production photos, and all this is like mandatory documents. So as you can see, this is mandate. Apart from all of this, there are few other documents that are irrespective of the kind of business. So in case you are located in a overexploited area, so you would be required to submit NOC from Central Groundwater Authority. So this is as per FSSAI's order. And some documents, once you apply, in case we are not sure about the safety of the product that you're manufacturing, we would require additional scientific data or something. In that case, we'd be putting a query across. So you're supposed to provide those documents as well in the online. So these are like other documents that are required. So blueprint, when you're submitting, just make sure it has operation wise area allocation. Meaning, if it is a layout, if it's a blueprint, it is okay. But if it is a layout, you may please make sure it is operation wise area allocations are marked in it, and dimensions in meters and square meters. So list of equipments also. Here also, when you're submitting, please make sure you mention the total number, the installed capacity, and the approximate HP used for each. An analysis report, water. So if you're using water as an ingredient in your food, you're supposed to submit a water analysis report from a recognized health laboratory or an NABL accredited laboratory or an FSSAI notified laboratory. So this is mandatory. So in general, analysis of water report should be as per IS 10500, which is applicable for all food industries. So that should be complied here. So these are other documents that are required. So here, in case of proprietorship, there's a format available for proprietorship. You can submit it. For partnership, it's deed you can submit. And only for companies, you have MOA that it needs to be submitted. So here for MOA, you'd be submitting your certificate of incorporation, your authorization of food business, and list of directors. Only 3 pages are required for MOA. So you will be submitting it. And production photos. So production photos also to be detailed for manufacturing units. You can have at least 5 pictures indicating all the areas, like your maybe the first view of the company, maybe the production area, the storage area, like 5 to 6 pictures, which is inclusive of the entire operation. So you can have the production photographs enclosed here. So declaration, earlier we were getting a lot of declaration, as we already discussed, but in this particular system, we have just a checkbox format. So you can just put a tick. So read the conditions and then give a submit. So these are the list of documents that is required. So once you submit the documents, you have a fee payment and your final submission. So here also, initially it was 7,500. Now for scrutiny alone, it is 1,000. And once the document scrutiny is over, and when your application is eligible for a license, when all the document aspect is fine, you would be required to pay the remaining fee. So that is a recent inclusion that has come in the licensing procedure. Earlier it was like 7,500 you'd be paying it initially itself, but now it has been initial licensing fee would be 1,000 and the remaining fee you'll be paying it at the end of the scrutiny. So after you finish this, your application will be submitted and your license would be generated as such. So this is just a sample this thing. So you'll be having your basic license details out here, and whatever product has been endorsed, that will be visible on your product annexures. So as you can see on the top, it is called as Form C. So the license is called as Form C. So this will be required during the modification. So yeah, so once this is issued, you can go ahead with your manufacturer. So now we will see in detail as to how to apply. So this we already discussed, this product detail format. So this is an example that I have given here. So this is for a health supplement. So you can just see here, since they've used vitamins and minerals, they have put a particular target group as adult men moderate work. If you see the RDA chart, there is a separate classification or maybe a categorization given for men with moderate work, heavy work, or something of that sort. So the RDA for men and women also differs. So in that case, you need to specifically mention as to whom the target population is intended for, based on which we'd be verifying your compliance for RDA. So product format, they've given it as tablet. So serving size is 1500 mg and recommended number of servings is 1 tablet per day. Okay, so this will be given. So here, if you can see, this first product consists only of vitamins, minerals. So this is being classified as health supplement. Here, the second thing, if you see, here, the third column, if you see, it's just schedule 1. So schedule 1 and 2, vitamins and minerals. So it can be classified as health supplement. Whereas here, if you see the second table, you have ingredients from schedule 3. So schedule 3 is specifically for nutraceuticals. So if you're adding some ingredient from schedule 3, so that will be classified as nutraceutical. And here there is a schedule 3 may you have part A and part B. So part A, you have a specific range, so it has to comply or be between that particular range. So here in the second this thing, if you see, you have like 2 or 3 ingredients added from schedule 3. One is from part A and one is from part B. So you can classify your product as health supplement. Okay, and a list of additives also, they have given the INS number, international standard number, that has been given here. The annexures and the numbers wherein it is permitted, they have given that as well. So this is how you need to present your product when you're applying for a license. So here we'll just see for one example. For example, here it is the first ingredient that they've used here is calcium citrate and malate. So for the source, the permitted source that they have claimed is calcium salts of citric acid. So if you go and see in the regulation, I'll just show you one example here. Yeah, if you can see, this is as in the regulation. So for calcium, if you see, please see the second table. Calcium, if you see, calcium salts of citric acid. So this is permitted. So calcium can be from either of these sources that have been listed out here. So they have said that they have using that particular salt based on this permissibility out here. So you'll be giving your permissibility or the acceptability for that based on the regulation. So likewise, for each and every product, whatever your ingredient that you're using, you'll be justifying that the chemical component source is as per FSSR, and the corresponding schedule numbers, you'll be giving it out there. So this is how you need to present your list of ingredient and additives. So So you might be wondering as to where to see this list of ingredients, what is permitted and what is not permitted. So for that, we'd be referring to 4 orders that came recently. So the latest order was in April 2023. So here, if you can see, initially we had a regulation, but there were some amendments to it. And this draft regulation is going to take some time. So we have operationalization it with 2 directions here. That is 18th October 2022. So which is actually reinstating on the 29th March order. So we are actually, as on date, we are following this 29/3/2022. And in this particular 29th March 2022, there have been some additives which were earlier permitted in the regulation, but have been, inadvertently missed out. So those have been re-notified by this 10th May 2022. So you have additional additives which are also permitted here. So you can refer to these 4 orders. So based on which your ingredient and additive permissibility would be permitted. Beyond whatever is being permitted here, you would be requiring an approval from the FSSAI headquarters. So you would be wondering as to where to find all these orders. So if you can go to the FSSAI website, there is something called as Act, Rule and Regulation. And after that, you have something called as Advisories and Orders. So once you click on this tab, Advisories and Orders, you'll be finding this kind of a sheet there. So if you search for Nutra, there's a search column that is there. If you search for Nutra, all the Nutra related orders, whatever has been issued till date would be here. So the one that I was talking about, 10th May 2022 at serial number 243, you can find it out there. So the 11th April 2023, the latest order that I was talking about, that is also listed here. So you can download the PDF. It is downloadable one. So you can download it from here. So this regulation that we were talking about, the final regulation that has been given as a direction on 29th March 2022, that is what we are following as on date. And if you see in this particular advisory, so for health supplement and nutraceutical, there have been some provisions that have been mandated here. So for example, if you're classifying your product as health supplement, so whatever is being allowed has been highlighted here. So nutrients and ingredients that are allowed. So here, as you can see, these are like screenshots from the direction that I showed you earlier, that is 29th March 2022. So if you can see from the screen here, the nutrients and ingredients allowed when the product is classified as a health supplement are: number 1 is protein, number 2 is vitamins, minerals, amino acids, or other ingredients with any nutritional or physiological effects. It can be used singly or in combination under schedules except Schedule 3. So Schedule 3, if you are using one ingredient from Schedule 3, you can classify it as nutraceutical. So if at all you're using, please do not classify it as health supplement. You can classify it as a nutraceutical. So these are the ingredients that are allowed here. And as you can see in the next this thing, what are additives permitted? So additives also, initially it was a generalized additive list, but here in this direction they have given specifically product format wise. So for example, if you see for tablet, capsules, syrup formats and pills, only additives that are permitted from time to time in this regulation is permitted. And for the other formats, for example, if you're manufacturing something like granules or powder or something of that sort, which is not any of the format that is mentioned above, so here you can not only use additives from 13.6, which is listed in this regulation, but also GMP table of the standardized food regulation. So that I will be showing you as to where you can refer it from. So this is product specific. Additives are product specific. So likewise for your nutraceutical also, here if you can see, nutrients and ingredients allowed are isolates, extracts, and molecules from Schedule 3. So here, nutraceuticals can contain ingredients from other schedules. There is no restriction out here. as in case of health supplement. And if you move on to your additives here also it has been given for specific formats, tablet, capsules, and syrup. Only additives that is permitted in this regulation is permitted. And for other formats, you can refer to the GMP table of the standardized food regulation, not the nutraceutical regulation, the standardized food regulation, which was notified in 2011 along with the compendium. So you can refer it from there. So I'll be showing you like in detail what is allowed and what is not allowed. So, and this regulation, as we can see, so schedule 1. So in this in this direction that has been given 29th March 2022, which has been operationalization wide, order dated 18th October 2022. In that you have like various schedules. So schedule 1 is containing nutrients, which has like different tables, one for vitamin, one for mineral, one for amino acids, and one for nucleotides. And schedule 2, this consists only of plants or botanicals. So this can be either in the given form or on the extract. So in case you're using an extract, the extractive ratios shall be subject to the daily usage value. So this has to be taken care of. And schedule 3 is molecules, isolates, and extracts other than schedule 2. So schedule, whatever is not been mentioned there will be mentioned out here, and this can be used in nutraceutical products. So schedule 4 is prebiotics and probiotics. So there might be one more case wherein like you are using ingredients from schedule 1, 2, 3, and 4. Apart from this, you might be having a question whether I can use any other ingredient apart from the ingredients that are specified here. Yes, you can use ingredients, but additives are only as per our this regulation. Ingredients you can use from the standardized food regulation, that is food product standard and food additive regulation. So it should be either permitted in any of the other regulation. So there, from there you can use your ingredients, but additives, whatever has been specified in this regulation, are only permitted. You cannot use additives apart from what is being permitted here. So, and cereals, grains, and legumes. So in case it is not listed out here also, in the latest edition of the IFCT, that you can refer. So from there, if you're using some cereal, grains or legumes or something, you can just refer to that as well, and you can use it as an ingredient in your product. Similarly, for spices also, Spices Board of India, they have given out a list. So if it is not mentioned in our regulation also, if it is specified here, you can still go ahead and manufacture products with that particular ingredients. And NSF stands for your non-specified food. Non-specified food, as we already told, it requires a specific approval from the FSSAI headquarters. So non-specified food as well as food ingredient. FI stands for food ingredients. So as a food also, if it is not permitted, or as an ingredient also it is not permitted, means for both you need to apply for approval from the FSSAI headquarters and then use it in your product. Similarly for additives, so this we already discussed. So list of additives, whatever is permitted in this regulation only will be permitted for tablets for specific formats. When it is other formats, you can use Appendix A and C of the previous regulation, the standardized food regulation. So that has been given here. And for flavors, you can use natural, identical, and artificial flavors in accordance with the standardized food regulation, that is food product standard and food additive regulation. So similarly here also there's one more thing that is being given here, additives and processing aids, what has not been specified in this regulation. If you would like to use any of those particular additives which is not specified here, those also require prior approval from the FSSAI headquarters. Not only your ingredients, even if you're using an additive or a processing aid that is not permitted that is not generally permitted in the FSSAI regulation, then you might be going for a prior approval from the food authority. In case you're using vitamins and minerals, it shall not exceed 1 RDA. As we all know, like if it is exceeding 1 RDA, it might fall under the drug jurisdiction. So we would not be granting licenses beyond 1 RDA. So it has to be within 1 RDA. So we were talking about schedule. So this is just screenshots of the schedule 1, 2, and 3 and everything. So for schedule 1, if you see, table A is for vitamins, table B is for minerals. So for vitamin A, only 3 sources have been permitted here. So you can use any one of these. So in case you're using anything else, so there has been a note that is given under all these 3 tables. So as you can see, suitable esters and derivatives and salts of vitamins. So apart from these 3, for example, for vitamin A, retinol is permitted, retinol acetate is permitted, retinol palmitate is permitted. Apart from these 3, if you are able to justify that your ingredient, whatever you're using, is a suitable ester or a suitable derivative, or if it is a suitable salt of vitamin A, then you can still use it in the product, but you should be able to justify. Salts and chelates also, for minerals, salts and chelates are allowed. Here, derivatives or esters are not allowed, only salts and chelates. If you are able to justify, you can still use it. So calcium also, here, more than 10 component sources have been permitted here. So if you're using anything apart from this, you should be able to justify it within the regulation. That is, if it is a salt or a chelate of mineral, whatever you're using. Similarly, for amino acids also, suitable esters, derivatives, and isomers and salts of amino acids may be used. So for all these 3, in case we require some additional safety information or data, you should be able to provide it as and when requested. So for those not listed, see, these are all already listed, so it has already been accepted as such. So in case you're listing it out from any of any other component source which is not listed, but you're able to justify it as falling within the suitable esters or derivatives or something of that sort, and we require some additional information on that, you're supposed to be able to provide it as and when sought. So these are the 3 tables for schedule. This is schedule 1. So schedule 1 comprises of your nutrients, as we already discussed: vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and other nutrients. Other nutrients are nucleotides here. So this is, I've just given a screenshot as it is in the regulation. So then schedule 2. So schedule 2, as we can see, it is all botanicals. Schedule 2 is botanicals. So if you can see here, for every botanical that has been permitted, there is a part of the plant that has been used. For example, the first product, if you see for bindi, only the fruit and the root is used. I mean, like, permitted here. If you're using leaf, that may not be permitted. So you need to be, and that is the reason why when you're submitting the product detail, you're supposed to declare whether it is, fruit or the root extract or something, whatever you're using, you please declare it there. And here also, for that particular thing, there's a permitted range that is being given for an adult. So this is schedule 2. So for schedule 2, you have particular restrictions here, as you can see in note 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here also, minimal processing of the above botanicals will not justify the product as a health supplement or a nutraceutical. Meaning, if it is minimally processed, clean, divided, sorted, dried, and powdered, and if you're claiming it as a nutraceutical or a health supplement, cannot be permitted here. So this is note number 1. And note number 3, if you see, permitted range for children, it is 5 of age between 5 to 16 years. If it is 5 to 10 gram, here it is given as half of the permitted range for adults. So here you'll be using only 5. So you'll be using around 2 to 5 grams. So that is why when we discussed about the model format that was given, target population is important here, because there have been given, there have been some restrictions that have been given. So if you're using one of these ingredients or vitamins or minerals, wherein there is an age restriction or a gender restriction or something of that sort. So you would be required to declare all that in the statement of ingredient for us to verify whether it is complying with the regulation or not. So here also it is given children between 1 to 5 years is a quarter of the permitted range for adults. There's a correction here. This regulation is not applicable for infants, that is below 2 years. This regulation, whatever product you're manufacturing based on this, it will not be considered for cannot be granted for kids less than 2 years, infants. So that there is a restriction here. And we already discussed schedule 3, that is molecules, isolates and extracts other than schedule 2. So this is schedule 3. So schedule 3, as we already discussed, it is part A and part B. Part A and part B are basically nutraceutical ingredients, where in part A you have a purity criteria and a permitted range that has been given, and part B is as per GMP. So this both can be used. And if you're using any ingredient from this schedule 3, then you should be classifying your product as nutraceutical, not as health supplement. So this is schedule 4, prebiotics and probiotics. So this list has been given. So here there is no underlying note and all given. So what is permitted is permitted. What is not permitted is not permitted. Like for example, when we saw for vitamins and minerals, we had like a additional note that was given, like suitable esters. Apart from what is listed, you can still use it. But here it is not so. Whatever has been listed is listed. So you can use only what is permitted here. Whatever strains have been permitted here, you can use it. So here, as we can see, we look into the additive part of it here. So for the additive, it is talking about food product standards and food additive regulations here for other formats. So this is your additive list that is already there. So like you have schedules for ingredients, you have annexure 3 for additives. So under annexure 3, you have like 4 tables. First table, the additives is specifically for food for special medical purpose. For example, on the application, if you're classifying your product as food for special medical purpose, and if your product actually qualifies as such, then you can use additives from this particular list and at this particular range, whatever has been permitted. Second, list of additives for FSDU, food for special dietary use. So if you're claiming the product as FSDU, then your additives would be in compliance to this, meaning whatever has been permitted in this table will be permitted, and at what range it is permitted, that only will be permitted. And table 3, this is list of additives for use in health supplement, pre and probiotics. So this is a general list of additives for nutraceuticals and probiotics. Whereas in the table 4, if you see, it is specifically for formats such as tablet, syrups, and capsules. So here, if you, in the previous slide, if we see, it is talking about additives within the permitted range for category 13.6. So as on date, it has not been notified 13.6, but we are referring it from here. So for health supplement and nutraceutical and all, if it is in tablet, capsule or syrup format, only additives in table 4 would be permitted. For the other formats, you can use table 3 plus the GMP table in the standardized food regulation. So you can use both. I repeat, if it is tablet, syrups and capsules, you'll be using additives only from table 4 of annexure 3. Whereas if it is in the other formats, granules or powders, you'll be using this table 3. And in addition to what has been listed in table 3 of this regulation, you'll be using your other additives listed in standardized food regulation, food product standard and food additive regulation. That is a totally different regulation. There is something called as GMP table. So you can use those additives also at GMP level. So I'll just show you as to how the additives are listed in the regulation that we're talking about. So this is annexure 3. Annexure 3, if you see the first table, it is for FSMP, food for special medical purposes. So here also the name of the additive is given, the INS number is given, maximum permitted range is given. So you can use it within this particular range. So the table 2 is for special dietary use. So here also you can refer to this particular additive and the limit wherein it is given here. So, and table 3, if you see, it is given as list of additives for use in health supplement, nutraceuticals, probiotics, and prebiotics. So this will be applicable for your powder formats. And for specific formats, that is tablets, capsules, and syrups, there is another table, table 4. So if you can see, the title is given. So if you're using, sorry, if your product is tablets, capsules, and syrups, you'll be using it from this particular table only. So these are the 4 tables. And as we already discussed, see, for products which are not in the formats that have been specified, for example, if you are using some powders, so this table plus there is one more regulation on the FSSAI website. It is called as food product standard and food additive regulation. Like how you have the nutraceutical regulation, there is a standardized food regulation that is there, which is called as food product standard and food additive regulation 2011. Under this, if you go to the end of this particular regulation, there is something called as GMP table provisions for all particular all food categories. So there are number of additives that can be used in GMP level. So all these are permitted in powder formats and formats other than your tablet, syrups, or capsules. Here you can refer both the tables, this regulation as well as this regulation. And if you can see here, there are some additives that have been highlighted here. For example, benzoates, they are like, in capital letters out here. So for this also, what benzoates, so many benzoates are there. So whatever is permitted, this is also there below this GMP table. Here for example, sulfites means like these are permitted. So you can refer. So at that particular limit, but whatever is permitted can be referred from this annexure 1 of this particular food product standard and food additive regulation. So you can refer it from here. So, and for other formats, only this table is applicable. You cannot refer to the other regulation. So only what is permitted here is permitted. So this is how you need to submit your list of ingredient and additive details. So coming to the RDA part of it. So RDA also initially it was as per 2010, but now it is 2020 from 1st July 2023. And the tolerance upper limit initially given was only for information and not to be used by food business operators. So we have like orders 2nd August 2021, 16th July 2021. We're following the 2nd August 2021. So as per that, FSSAI has adopted ICMR 2020. Wide its order dated 2nd August 2021. We have adopted this. So these are the limits. So we already discussed when we are talking about this target population and all. So why we are asking you to specify if it is for men. So you need to give the gender as men, and whichever basis of calculation you can just specify whether it is sedentary, whether it is moderate, or whether it is heavy. So based on your declaration only, we will be verifying whether your product is complying with the regulation or not, or with the RDA or not. If it is exceeding this particular limit that has been given, the application cannot be considered for further processing, because if it is exceeding 1 RDA, it would be falling under drug, and it will not be falling under the jurisdiction of FSSAI. So we would not be considering it as such. So when you're formulating a product, please make sure that it is falling within 1 RDA. So this is the order wherein all the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, the limit has been given. So you're supposed to comply with that. So this we already know. Initially, RDA calculation, this is a complex thing based on your molecular weight and all you'll be calculating. So this is just for information. This you need not provide it in the list of ingredient or additive. For that reason, we are just asking you the quantity of the active nutrient only. Initially, you will be calculating it a back end and you'll be submitting it here. So this is just for your understanding that I've calculated it for one, if it is for calcium. So for example, in your list of ingredient additive, if the name of the ingredient is calcium and the chemical component source, if you're declaring it as calcium carbonate, so you'd be calculating based on this, and you'd be giving the active nutrient limit alone, and based on that you'll be calculating the RDA compliance and declaring it as such. You can just go through since we're falling short of time. So as I already discussed, more than one RDA. Initially, there were some deliberations that were going on, but the authority in May 2023 has decided that all of this would not be even covered under approval for non-specified. If it is crossing one RDA, it will not be considered for approval, even under the non-specified food and food ingredients. So now more than one RDA is not permitted. So your products needs to be compliant as per all of this. So in summary, what you need to observe is ingredient and additive compliance should be as per 29/3/2022 that order, and for additional additives, whatever has been missed out in the previous direction for implementation, the additional additives, whatever has been permitted, you can refer to the second order, that is 10th May 2022. And both the above has been reapplication by order dated 18th October 2022. So ingredient and additive, whatever you're using, has to be in compliance with this. The RDA compliance shall be as per ICMR 2020, and that has been adopted by FSSAI by its order dated 2/8/2021. So anything beyond this would be requiring an approval from the FSSAI headquarters. So even prior to this, there are few prohibitions that was initially listed out there. So these are like, I'm not put out the orders, but I've just listed out the name of the ingredients. So all these ingredients, it may be permitted for export, but not for the domestic market, because this has been prohibited by as on date. So all of this, if you're using any of these particular products for your formulation, it will not be considered for license. So you can just go through these orders as well. So as on date, these are all prohibited for claim as nutraceuticals or health supplements or whatsoever. So once you have got your license, so this is how you need to submit your ingredient and additive, and your product should be compliant with one RDA, within one RDA. And once you're done with it, in case you're applying for, in future you're applying for one more product, you'll be applying for modification. So modification also the same procedure. So you'll be logging in. So logging in. So once your license is issued, you'll be using your login. We already discussed this. So for new license, it will be the reference application reference number will be your login ID. But once your license is issued, your license number will be your login ID, and your password will remain the same, what you set initially. So you'll be logging in, and then you'll be selecting the license to be modified. So if you So you'll be applying for the license to be modified, and you'll be selecting the modification. You'll be submitting the fees, and then you'll be getting an acknowledgement for the receipt. So modification also, when you're applying, for those of you who do not know, there are two types of modification, which is called as Form C and non-Form C. As I already told you in the previous slides, the license, Form C is nothing but the license. The application that you're submitting is called Form C, and the license that is issued thereafter, after all the completion, it is called as Form C. So whatever details is reflected on the license, when you are requiring a change in that, for example, if you're wanting a change in the name of the company, the premises address, the product detail, or for example, today you are manufacturer, tomorrow you wanting to import, so you are changing the kind of business also. So all of this is printed on your license. So all of this, if you're applying for a modification, that you will be applying it under Form C modification. And for those which does not require, which is not reflected on the license, for example, there will be two person's name that you'll be declaring on the application: person in charge of operation and person who will be complying the condition of license. If you want to change any of those details, it will be falling under non-Form C. It is not part of Form C. So that is why it is called as non-Form C. So you'd be applying it. So Form C is with the modification license fee of 1,000 rupees. Non-Form C is without fee. So non-Form C, you'd be wherever your personnel who is in charge of operation or any person that is changing in the company, if you want to submit those details, it would be non-Form C, that is without fee. And Form C is for anything that is printed on the license, and it is with fee. So this is, so on the online screen, if you see, we initially started with the apply for new license and registration tab. Now we will logging on to modification of license and registration. So once you click on this, it will be asking you for your license number. So you'll be giving your license number and proceeding it. So it will be asking you for the password and you'll be logging in. So once you log in, it will be giving you the option for modification. So here you can see there are two options, Form C modification and non-Form C. So in case you're changing product or anything that is printed on the license, you'll be selecting the first one. So under first one, you'll be having these three options. You need to select the first one and give proceed, and you can add your products, whatever you wish to add or delete, whatever that is. So you can just go ahead with that particular tab. So once it is submitted, the same procedure follows. 15 days for scrutiny. We will be scrutinizing the application. Additional document, if it is required, we'll be seeking it. And it is your responsibility to submit it within 30 days, failing which the application would be auto-rejected. If it is clarified, the license would be generated. So this is the entire process that is getting repeated. So this is all about how you need to submit an application for a nutraceutical this thing. So once you've got your license, so what you need to do, you need to comply with the licensing regulation annexure 3. So, and in the previous meeting, we sir had already briefed about schedule 4 requirements. So you need to follow that. So once you get your license, you need to follow all this and maintain proper records. And FOSTAC also, this is training which is mandated for 25 people. So if you have like 25 people working under your company, then you need to have at least one FOSTAC trained professional. So it is 1:25 ratio. And submission of annual returns. So submission of annual returns is also mandatory. So 31st May is the last date, failing which there will be a penalty. So once you are done with the application, you need to comply with all of these. So once you're done with it, so this is basically for you to understand that the product, whatever you're formulating, it should be in line with the FSSAI regulation, so that it is easy for us to process the application and it does not cause undue delay asking for queries or product related. And when you're uploading a document, please make sure that it is legible. Some documents are scanned, it is not clear at all. So those kind of things would be like sought again. So those kind of things please try to avoid, and whatever information you give should be relevant to the product that is being applied here. So, and next one is like you have something on the FSSAI FoSCoS website for latest announcements. Whatever we keep updating, if there is a new order or something, you can check it out on the FSSAI website. So keep updating yourself with the new amendments, notices, and orders. So that the ensure for us to ensure that the licensing is a smooth process, and compliance from your part is also on as on date, up to date. So this is the entire procedure. So if you have any questions, our joint director as well as our licensing authorities are here to answer your queries.
Thank you, ma'am. And anybody has got any question, you can always unmute and then you can raise your question.
So there are some queries on the chat.
Yes.
We'll just go through that.
If you're able to do that, ma'am, that will be nice.
1 second, sir. So first question first question is like, do we need to upload all the documents from Mr. Karthik? I think, do we need to upload all the documents company related every time we go for an amendment? No, sir, it is not mandatory, because your application. See, there was initially we had a discussion that it is migrated from FLRS to FoSCoS. So in that migration, if you're doing it for the first time, some documents have been captured, some documents were not captured. So in that case, during the first migration alone, you'd be required to submit all the documents. The remaining, you'll be submitting whatever is relevant to that particular modification. For example, you're changing the name of the company, means you'll be submitting only certificate of incorporation and other that mandatory detail. If you're changing the product or modifying a product, only relating to those particular amendments, whatever you're modifying your license, you need to apply. Not every time you'll be required. Yes, sir. Somebody has asked regarding probiotics in capsule format. So yes, probiotics in capsule format was approved earlier, but why this recent direction that I've told, that is 29th March, whatever we were discussing, there is a clear-cut instruction that probiotics in capsule formats other than powders, it is not permitted, and it requires a prior approval from the FSSAI headquarters. So we're not approving it as on date.
Hello, good
Yes,
evening,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a small doubt. First of all, thank you for the presentation, ma'am, which is very precise and very understandable manner. Ma'am, my doubt is on schedule, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, under schedule 1, you have mentioned that we can give justification while using the scheduled ingredients as salt, derivatives, or whichever
Yes,
form
ma'am.
we want.
Yes, ma'am.
So similarly, under schedule 3, if you are using the ingredient means, you have given approval for particular part of the plants like
Yes,
seed
ma'am.
or
Yes, ma'am.
leaf extract.
Yes.
Ma'am, if you are using the form like powder or oil form means, will the same justification be allowed to
No,
use?
ma'am. That is what you need to see the regulation. So, in case there is a no underlying note below that particular table for botanicals, we have
Yes.
that. If there is nothing, we may not be able to permit it, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. In case if the if you or someone is having the patent of such ingredient means, will it be allowed, ma'am?
Patent from whom, ma'am?
From the intellectual property of India for the particular combination of the product
Yes, ma'am. So that would require clarification from the FSSAI headquarters, ma'am. So, as on
headquarters.
date, our stage is like whatever is permitted in the regulation, we go by it.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. There
Yeah.
is one question on the chat box. For RD ICMR 2023 is effective from December 2023. Is it applicable? Somebody has sought that. Sir, as on date, FSSA has insisted on ICMR 2020. So we are following that. 2023 might be revised as per ICMR, but FSSA has adopted only 2020. So we are following that only.
Yeah, I think we are running short of time, and I think maybe one more question, if at all. Otherwise, we can.
Ma'am, just one more final doubt, ma'am. For non-PharmC modification, fees is not required, right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, in case of license modification, only during addition of the product requires fee, or even deletion of the product is also.
Ma'am, 1 second. I'll just. I'll just show you a copy of the license. See, ma'am, this is the license. So it is called
Yes.
Form C. So
Yes.
whatever is being printed, for example, the name of the registered office, authorized premises,
Yes.
kind of business as in manufacturer, importer, retailer, whatever that is. So
Yes.
all this. So this is the license, and whatever is printed on the license. If there is a change in this, meaning you're changing your premises, You're changing the name of the company. You're changing from manufacturer to repacker or relabeler. Or you're changing your category from central license to state license. So whatever is printed on the label, if you're changing something in this,
Okay.
and product annexure is also a part of the license. So product also, if you're adding or deleting or anything modification, all this requires a fee, ma'am. That will be applicable under Form C modification.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ma'am, one more doubt, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, if we want to add sucrose and dextrose in powder format under health supplements or nutraceuticals, where it is present, ma'am?
You want to add?
Sucrose and dextrose.
Maltodextrin and ma'am. So that
No,
is
ma'am.
permitted in the GMP table, no, ma'am?
Sucrose is not permitted in GMP table, ma'am.
Sucrose is basically sugar.
So we can add or not, ma'am?
That is what, ma'am. You can refer to that GMP table out there, no, ma'am? It's already permitted there.
Okay, ma'am.
GMP table of the Food Product Standard and Food Additive Regulation. You can refer that, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Ma'am, actually, what I suggest is
Yes, sir.
you can just share your email ID so that, they, in case they have any doubts, the participants, they can always approach you. They can send a mail to you and then they can get it clarified if it is allowed,
Sir, I would just give it. So this mail ID is there, so you can note it down. In case you have some query, you can drop in your mail, or if you can call the office. So this is your point for contact. So we'll be happy to clarify it from there, sir.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, ma'am. I think we will wind up this session. And really, I thank you for your valuable time today and, giving the insight with regard to the, online application. It's so much in-depth way, you have gone and then, you have educated our people. And really, really thankful to you. And I also thank our IDMA, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Kerala Board Chairman, Mr. Jayasilan, and also our mentor, Mr. Veeramani sir, for their valuable support to organize this conference, and also the Secretary also, Mr. Shiva. And I thank Mr. Kannan and Mr. Krishnan for all their organizing things in a nice way for this particular webinar. When we have on 1st of November, sorry, 3rd of November, sorry, 1st of November only, on Wednesday, we have the third webinar by Mr. Vivek, Assistant Director, CLA, again on the, complete overview of the health supplements and nutraceuticals. And that is again a very useful topic. I think I'm sure, all of you can, all the participants and also new participants can also enroll. And I think with this, I think I really again thank the FSSAI, the regional office, as well as, madam, for your valuable time and then to organize this webinar. Thank you very much again. Thanks all the participants for your overwhelming response.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir, to actually present it.
Yeah.
Thanks to the entire team.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Very valuable. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We'll wind up. We'll leave. Yeah. Thanks.